For those that wonder, there's absolutely no prep for these streams, and I probably should. I'm getting a new mic tomorrow, um, and then one day I might just have a good streaming setup. But you have to understand, I basically went out of bed like 2 minutes ago, and I just one of the things I like, and the way to operate is to commit. And when you put out, when you put something out there to the public, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna stream every day for the whole year, then it's a matter of sticking to your words and actually doing it. And surely there are times where, I wake up and I'm like, do I really want to do it? I see my Slack. My Slack got 65 pings. And I look at this, and I know you have always some issues, legal stuff. Our company is getting audited at the moment, sort of requests from left and right. But I'm like, yeah, it's just love of the game, I suppose, and then you just have to go at it. Today is a big day. It's a big day. I really need to get a haircut. That's crazy. You can see the haircut deteriorate over time as I do the streams. Probably you can see how exhausted I can be. But yeah, it's gonna be a long day, I can tell you. What we did yesterday, a couple of things. So getting ready for the free trial, troubleshooting things. We've fixed a lot of the bugs that we've had. Let me show you my screen. Let me just close some tabs. And then we'll discuss about markets, we'll discuss about the raise. And I don't want to make it too long. I really have to work, to do some proper work. All right, so let's go ahead. You guys see my screen? All right. Saying you guys see my screen, but there's actually no one watching it at the moment. I know people have asked me, hey, why don't you stick to your normal, like a normal schedule? To which I say I just can't. I'm basically trying to do streams when I have good energy and I can just be somewhat eloquent, or just be okay. If I were to do streams at like 9 p.m. or like 10 p.m., I just completely exhausted, and then I just talk nonsense. To be very frank, challenges. We've set up the coupon codes. Forgot the coupon code for that, but that works. So you can give an influencer referral, and that's going to be applied there. And we've also set up the free trial. So, for example, on free trial, you don't have to put your credit card, and this is for today, the free trial version. You can just go ahead, and that's going to open a new challenge. So you see here, free trial, that's cool, and then free trial is live. Yesterday we've also added the leaderboard. This leaderboard is, it's not looking very good in terms of UI. We've just built the endpoint so that we see who's at the top. Who's at the top and you can probably tell you have two times. I think this is actually myself here, because it's per challenges. The P&L is not aggregated through different. Like we don't do aggregated P&L. We do per challenges. We've done this, and what we've pushed yesterday as well is we've pushed the position cap on BTC, for example. You see the position cap. You see the position cap here. For example, if I do a long now on BTC, that you'll see position cap is going to increase. Well, which means you can only see what's the max allowed and remaining capacity on the asset. So that's what we've pushed. We've pushed some front-end end-to-end tests, which aren't really relevant to you. Can actually go. For sake of it, I'm gonna go through our GitHub, but we've got the basically logs, some user profiling. Waitlist is now in prod, so prod is officially up. I don't recommend you go there just yet, but today, you actually, if you're not on the waitlist, you're not going to see the free trial. It's only going to be in a few hours from now. And the way it's going to work is if you're not on the access list, it's going to show you this, and then you'll see the free trial on the left, and then people are going to be able to use the free trial. Leaderboard is going to be fetching the free trial list, and couple of things we need to do before hitting prod. I just want to make sure in terms of feature we are good. Okay, we fixed one issue with the partial fill that was reported. I'm a bit behind on the product QA. Like I haven't checked it extensively, and because I know I just haven't updated it, to be honest. Yeah, so a couple of things. It's mainly, wait, do we actually have this now? Okay, purchase history is now also live, which is cool. That got merged. So you can print your invoice if you want on the challenge, the challenge, which is cool. Where am I? All right. You can see everything. Free trial, obviously, that is free. In terms of API key, we've improved that quite a bit. So you see all the endpoints. Obviously, you can go through the full doc if you want to. In terms of security, where did we add the, okay, referral? Yeah, we added the ability to link a wallet. Linking a wallet, is useful for the payouts. So we've added this. Actually, quite a few things I see when, because these were items that I've built, which was in a PR from a week ago, and that got added in beta, which is cool. So now you can also change your username. So I can do Louis Borg. and there's a cache on the leaderboard, but not on the username. So you see, okay, it's myself here, which is pretty cool. We have a bug at the moment. Wait, what the fuck is this? Wait, we have a big bug here. Let me actually report that just now. Let me do some reporting now. So that's interesting. Why map balance would show. We've also added close all. I'm not sure if that was mentioned on the stream one day. But you see, I'm doing some bug reporting just now. And also, honestly, if I don't feel confident in that in like 6 hours we can get this figured out, I'd have to call it to release through the night or release tomorrow. That's just reality. We're pushing a lot of things, and yeah, that's just the way it is. The most important bugs, and that one is I just saw it, and it's not. I really don't like this. But we've made a lot of patches. The issue we have at the moment is that we've let a lot of people through on the beta, which is this environment, which is our dev environment, and because we've made a lot of migrations, we also weren't able to run, like, we haven't bothered to run all migrations for all users because some were pretty complex, which means that some users don't have the same state. So if you have a bug, you actually have to check whether that bug is on all users or just a subset of users which have all accounts. But that should be fixed. It should be resolved in prod. Don't create a prod account just yet. Wait until we release, which let's finger cross. Well, let's cross fingers. It's going to be today. Otherwise, in terms of what we're going to add today that's not added yet is the referral. Today, when you pass in /ref /ref equals slew, that's not going to do anything, and we will add this. We have to make some changes there. We're asking for the email when the reality is we have your email since you're buying your account through Google. So that makes little sense. And now we'll look at the market a bit. Sorry, just before that, on the seed round, you see we've announced yesterday that the specs changed. It's changed. We've explained the rationale, but reality is we understand like where the market's at, and obviously we've had great interest. Actual interest log is on /transparency. Is on /transparency, and you see the interest that's been filtered for bots from day one, so we know it's actual interest. But we've had, I guess our goal is to really get momentum into that sale, and on 1 million, I think we would, given the market, etc., I think it was a bit too greedy of an ask. Plus the the product is super close to being released. I mean, you guys see it on live. And my mind was, if we can raise less and raise more through revenue, and there's obviously this liquidity constraint that I can guarantee, like personally, which means that because the more traders we let in, the more liquidity we need to have. We can't let like 1,000 traders in and then not have the liquidity guarantees. We've discussed this on the Solana funded launch, but that's just a reality. And the other thing is, so what we change is we do a vault, a 300k vault, so pretty small vaults. That's going to be live in a week from now. KYC, I actually have to build this shortly after this call, this stream. KYC is going live tomorrow, I believe. And yeah, it's the first vault. There will be, I think, another vault depending on the traction. Maybe in a month from now, or maybe later. People ask, like, why do you raise with the community? There are a few things I've learned in crypto, but one is, if you want folks to really pay attention, you need to have them financially committed. And then it's also beautiful when you're able to add value back to the user. So people see okay, we're actually taking value. We're taking money that's in someone else's wallet, and that's effectively going in the company's wallet. People don't see the value creation. And when you create a net new value, then that value accrues to the community and not institutionals. I think this is what made the Hyperliquid great, is it's just community driven. Now royalties we have to raise, we can't just do, we love not to raise and airdrop everything to the community. Royalties is not possible. The thing I've added yesterday as well is this, we've had, we went live with the waitlist communication, so the 1 million challenge. And, Proper is about transparency, is we strive to be transparent about everything that we do. And a lot of people would shield insane waitlist growth and say, hey, now, you see we've got, I don't know, close to 1,000 waitlist participants. But I want to be honest and say, our algos are flagging a hell lot of farmers. I won't go into the specifics of what the algo does. A few things that we look at that's not very advanced is the IP, the country, the cluster. Actually, every call is making a request to an AI, which is telling us what's the odds of this being a farmer. And the farmer is flagged on the DB, and then we won't take this this entry. A few reasons for doing so, but for example, when we ping an email to a farmer, send an email to a farmer, that is leading us to be in the spam at some point. And I'm pretty confident that the patterns are very clear, and that we have a lot of farmers. But we still have, like, in the midst of it, we still have a lot of folks that join nonetheless. We've added 140, 39 folks to the waitlist, which isn't too bad, which isn't too good, somewhere in the middle. And hopefully we'll add more stats as we go live. I'm not sure actually if that's been pushed, but there is this, we do have an endpoint to get the overall platform stats. I'm not sure if that's up in beta. I have to check. Now let's go to some interesting stuff in the market. We did take a long on BTC, which turned out to be good. If you're not following us on Telegram, please do it. I believe you have the link just here. It's a public Telegram where we share the stream of trades. Like every trade I take is being broadcasted on the Telegram. It's also broadcasted on Discord, for example. Can't really show you my Telegram. For example, every trade that I take is being broadcasted here. When we covered the short, so yesterday we did cover the short and then flip long. I also flip long on my hyperliquid address, and I want to give a bit of context. I think it's a very tricky place to be in the market now. Is just very, very tricky. It's pretty hard to. I'd say it's pretty hard to navigate this market. I'll show you my approach, and then we'll end the stream. It's probably going to take 5-10 minutes. So we went long at pretty much the peak of bottom. We went long 69, which was really just, as close as possible to the bottom. There's a bit of luck there, but my rationale for this was that we had I haven't looked at the market since. Well, it was in the night, but what we had at the peak here in the bear market like today, looking at positioning low time frame is really helping. And we had basically a huge ramp in people betting on the downside. That was my guess, that it was people betting on the downside. The main reason for it is because as you had a drag in price, the OI was not moving, which means you effectively had no liquidation. If we look at the liquidation here, we had little liquidation, which tell me, okay, you have shorts piling up here. And then a trade that made sense to me, and that still makes sense, is my invalidation was 16.8, and then looking for 72, basically this setup. Now this trade is over, it's probably over. I also went long to hedge the hype short. So we still have the hype short on. And we had like 2x delta, so 300k notional on BTC, 150 notional on hype. I would probably not have gone long without a hype short. That's a different topic. At some point, as we scale proper, I'm probably gonna do, hopefully, a course one day. But my trading style is very different than anything I've seen. My background is TradFi, but I've never taken a trading course, or it's basically just timing the market and figuring out stuff as I go, and taking big L's and going back up, and then you come to a point where my track record is that if I were to do a course, I would probably share the track record, but I can say with, well, certainty that 2024, 2025 was probably in the, well, it was up probably, it's like, when you look at some exchange leaderboards, I was basically in the top 10 by PNL on like the biggest exchanges for multiple years. I can't share the exact metrics, but that's basically the credentials. But the issue is this this trading style is not something you can teach so much. For example, the why would I go long now when I have a hype short instead of closing the hype short? That to me is more how I view hype and likelihood of hype going up, and then how do I want to, because your opportunity cost of a trade is pretty much the margin that's been used. And I was like, I think hype's probably topped, but in case it's not topped, I want to make sure I have decent margin to be able to hold that short through. And I was like, I'm able to, like, worst case market goes against me, but hype should, like, that eats my margin, but hype goes down. And if the trade goes with me, then I increase my margin. Hype goes up, but I'm able to sustain a longer liquidation price, well, a higher liquidation price. Anyways, probably what I'm saying is probably not making sense. But in the context of what I think of crypto now, ironically, I had 3% this morning ask me what do I think market's headed. And as I look at the market now, we've taken off a lot of that positioning. So this trade to me is over. Like, I really don't see what you can take here in the very low time frame. I'm curious to see I think in the current climate, I don't think if we were to see a ramp in OI, that is probably going to lead to the same pattern. Ideally, we've got good amount of OI being built here, so the market can chase higher, and then that's probably going to be where I TP. I want to TP on that baseline. I don't want to, like, realistically TP is somewhere around here for that trade. And because it's basically a hedge, I'm happy to run trip, which would likely have the hedge, well, the short leg be taking less margin, but I'm still on 2x delta, so I'm hoping that the market goes up. In terms of what's next, what do I think is going to happen, or like what's the probability of things happening? Asia is pretty much in a crisis now. Like, at least the countries that do not have a big reserve of oil and gas. You've got, I think, Bangladesh that's imposing a full day a week work. Some are rationing driving and refueling tanks. And I'm not sure the market's really realizing this. For example, the South Korean stock index, EWI, is dropping quite significantly. We don't have trading view on this account, it's on my other account. All right. But I think a good setup would be short Asian stocks. EWI might be a good setup. Um, I think it's hard to. I still think the short side is much more comfy than the long side. One of the big reasons for it is we had the first big taco reaction. And then we know that the next taco will have diminished returns. So instead of being a move up, that's going to be 4.5%. It's probably going to be muted to in the order of maybe 2%, 3%. So the EV of being short has actually increased. And I think if you were to take the range highs, or maybe we're already at the highs, but if we were to take this, I think your short setup going into the weekend is very clear, and I would re-add on shorts up there. I would think that the shorts that got added here all the way there pretty much given up, and think, okay, we might just be trying pumping, like going long side now. And I think this is where eventually a short can be good. And I think your invalidation when you go short on, if we were to go higher today, is also very, very clear. I would take something like a 70, realistically 74, and then target lows. That would be that to me would be a good setup. Obviously that we need to look at the positioning, we need to look at what the market does. If you followed the stream all along, you know that we like to take shorts in the end of week, going to the weekend, and through like Monday, Tuesday. I think the apex of markets pricing in the worst in terms of gas crisis or energy crisis, we're probably 60 to 70% of the way there. We're not at the apex, but I think soon. And overall in a bear market, you want to be shorts is just a lot more comfortable than long. And I think it's likely you'll see me being aggressively short again if we were maybe just even now. I think that setup could be interesting. But for now, we just stick to the setup and wait for trigger. I'm mainly, because the market is just so boring, I'm mainly looking at positioning. So if positioning is, like for example here, that was a very easy long when you saw that shorts were piling up, and then I'm basically wanting to see, I check back the market in a few hours and see, trying to understand who's doing what. I understand a lot of people want to be hedged up. Range breakout is going to happen at some point. I just don't think market's gonna go on a run this weekend. Probably next week. The relative strength in crypto does not really appeal to me. I know things, for example, let's say the South Korean market goes limit down and then it's just crisis, then there is no way BTC sustains that, especially if let's say we have limit down, and I know a lot of people are saying limit down and forecasting for the worst, but the reality is you have a big energy crisis in Asia, which is not which is pretty much unheard of. And I think you can have a movement of panic. And in case of panic, people always sell their most liquid assets, that is tradable 24/7, i.e. crypto. So relative strength can fade, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next few days to have a minus 10, 15% on BTC if we have Asian stocks that go real bad. And that is probably a big buy. I think anything at range lows is good. Whether that's spot or just swing. And I'll have the same speech once we're back at the bull, which I think is gonna be fairly quickly now. I mean, it's gonna come fairly shortly. I'm gonna be playing the long side even on drawdowns because the EV of being long is just higher. So in terms of probability, you're much more likely to be right on the long side. Just like I think now is you're much more likely to be correct on the short side just because of high time frame. And because you've had this taco, I know what the market's got in the tank, and then your invalidation on the short side is the worst. In the case of taco is a 2-3% move, which makes me a lot more comfortable to go short. So yeah, it's gonna be it. I know a lot, like some folks are saying, hey, what you're saying is not very clear. I recognize that. The easiest is just to follow the positioning on the 100K to a million. The truth is it's super nuanced. Some people were like, hey, you were like super bearish and then you flip long, like why is that? It's trade management and managing margin for the hype short mainly. And it's also you're in a market where it's just hard to know where things are. So pair trading, going long an asset, short an asset is much more comfy. And I'm not trying to squeeze every percent of the market. This challenge is over a year and a half, and there might be time where we just don't take trades because it's just a more EV thing to do. And also, just last thing, but we might just, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the 100K to 1 million, like the Telegram group. As we do the seed round, do we lock this for the seed round participant to the proper token holders? I'll give it a think. I'm just not happy with the growth of this 100K to 1 million. So far, I have to think of ways. I don't want to fall into the trap of sharing big P&Ls, because obviously, this BTC long, I took like a pretty large notional on my personal account, so not the hyperliquid account. I can share this, and then people will be like, yo, that's crazy. I just don't like this. The truth is, when you're honest, it's hard to scale. It's hard to get visibility. So I'll have to give it a think and potentially change the format. Have to go to work now. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can always leave a like. Join our community, it just really helps. Peace.